Do you want to make your life easier this year and have less to do the day before you go back to school? Well, here are 10 things that you should start doing now, and number 9 might surprise you. So this might be the hardest thing to do on this list, which is why I put it right at the top so it's easier and you can do it earlier to get it out of the way. And what it is to fix your sleep schedule. And now I know it's easier said than done, and you might be thinking, how the hell do I do that, and how can I do that without only like a week left? Well, honestly, it might not be as hard as you think. So let's say you have a week left before you go back to school. If you start sleeping 30 minutes earlier every night, by the end of the week, you'll have slept 3.5 hours earlier than you used to. And the other thing you should have is a set bedtime. So for me, I'm trying to go to around 1 a.m., which might sound super late, but it's earlier than what I've been sleeping normally. So yeah, just follow that tip and try and sleep 30 minutes earlier every night, and eventually you'll get to a point where you're really happy with your sleep schedule, or it'll be much earlier than when you used to go to sleep, and you'll find it easier to start waking up earlier for school. So tip number 2 might be super obvious for some people, and you might be thinking like, isn't that obvious? But it's not as obvious as you might think, and that is to finish your summer work. So for those of you who don't get summer work, you'll be like, why do you even get that? But honestly, for year 11s going into year 12s and year 12s going into 13, oftentimes it's just to give us a good basis for the topics coming up in September. For any year 11s now starting sixth form or college, the topics honestly in A-level are much harder, and that's often why teachers give you some summer work to do, just so it's not as hard for when you start. And then also for year 12s going into year 13s, we all know the second year of A-levels is much harder, and that's again why we get summer work. So tip number 3 is, as my parents would say, probably the thing I show most on this channel, and that is to declutter your space or organize. If your physical environment is clean and fresh, then you'll feel much more productive and more inclined to do the work that you get set. But at least for the majority of people, a clean study space equals being more productive. So something just as important as your physical environment is your online environment, and that is why tip number 4 is to declutter your phone. You might not notice it, but your phones, iPads, computers, laptops, whatever, they often have loads of unnecessary files, stuff in your cache, loads of photos. You might have loads of photos that like are just random screenshots like I often do, or apps like games, stuff that you don't even play anymore that are just sitting on your phone. For me, I often do this like monthly online detox thing every 3 months or so, because that's when I feel like is peak, okay, it's getting messy for me. So you might have already done this, but for those of you who haven't, I highly recommend just going through your phone, spending like an hour, maybe less than an hour, half an hour, just clearing out your photos, clearing out any unnecessary apps or files that you don't need anymore, and even your phone feeling all organized is going to make you more productive. So tip number 5, start an organization system. Super fun, I know, right? But honestly, all those notions that you see online and all those like, journals or planners that people have, as aesthetic as they are, you don't even need to be that aesthetic, but it's super useful to have some sort of organization system in your life, just so you can plan ahead and know when things are. Yeah, but I use Notion, and Notion is really, really useful because you can have every part of your life all in one. So I have my content creation stuff in one, and then my study space in another Notion. But it's super simple, and I'll show you on the screen now. I'm just going through the folders that I have, and I have one for homework organization. I have an assignment like folder. I have a calendar for when tests are, or other stuff that might be happening in school. And having that organization system is gonna make your life 10 million times easier. 1000%, as soon as I started using my Notion, I saw myself being more organized, more prepared, and honestly just having a better grasp of my life. Whatever you want to use, it's super useful to just have something where you can put the dates of your tests, or plan ahead for when you're going to revise for a subject, or maybe when your next study session with your friends is, if you do that. Some type of organization system will make and save your school life. So this next tip is specifically for me. It's aimed at me and anyone else who might have had this problem. So for me, going from GCSEs to A-levels was a big transition. Like, I wasn't expecting it. So the start of the year was harder than I anticipated it, and I just had to work out a lot of things on my own. And of course, nowadays you can find loads of tips online and stuff, but me, just being a bit naive, I didn't really do any of that. And what I also didn't do is set out clear goals for myself, which I feel like is where my downfall was. So what you guys should do this year is get your journal, get whatever you want. So let's say I write down in this journal 5 goals that I want to achieve by the end of term, 5 goals that I want to achieve by the end of the year, and 5 goals that I want to achieve by the end of the school year. So for anyone going into year 12, that's a big tip for you guys as well. Just write out 5 things that you want to achieve for this term and how you're going to achieve them. Just don't write out what you're going to do. Write down a process for how you're going to achieve them, and then start implementing that process as soon as you can. So this next tip might sound like I'm your parent saying this to you, but it's literally just label your things. They say that all the time in primary school, to label your jumper, label your clothes, label your shoes, whatever. But even in sixth form, even at college, uni, whatever, just label your things. It's much easier. If you do lose something, maybe it's gone around your friend group or whatever, and oh yeah, they can check and be like, oh, this is my water bottle, or this is that guy's planner, or whatever. So yeah, just labeling your things makes life much easier for when you lose something, because it can be more easily returned to you. This next tip, I don't want to see anyone doing this the night before or the day of school, because you're bound to forget something. But if you can, try and pack your bag 2 or 3, 4, 5 days before school, however you can. You might not get your timetable yet, or you might not know what lessons you have, but just having some sort of packed bag makes it easier for that first day of school when you're kind of rushing, kind of panicked. So tip number 9, honestly, I filmed this 4 times now, so I'm kind of sick of it, but it's to make a Pinterest board or mood board. And this tip is the reason I said it might be surprising for you. A lot of people actually underestimate that. They're like, oh, that's a bit weird, like why would you ever do that? But having some sort of visual representation of your goals actually gives you more motivation to achieve it, and loads of people on TikTok have been doing this. And I'll put a video up for you now.
If you've never done a vision board and you need proof that they actually work,
this is why they're important. Watch this. Okay. So this is my vision board I made at the beginning of the year. So I wanted to learn Russian. Я говорю по-русски. I did it. I wanted to read books. I did it. Ta-da! I wanted to work out and join like a super cute gym where I can do classes like that. I go to Equinox and I just hit like the 5 classes mark, so I did that. I wanted to do Bible at the beach. I did that in Miami. I wanted to stay in communion with God. Oh, sweetie, I did that.
So as you can see, she like made a mood board and everything and achieved her goals much easier, and everything that she had on that mood board she got. So tip number 10, again, this is something that everyone should be doing because summer is ending and it's sad to think about, but it's just to enjoy your last few days of summer. Whatever that might look like for you, for some people, enjoying their time is just spending time by themselves, listening to music. And for others, it's going out with their friends, going to like a theme park, whatever you want to do. Just finish the things that you weren't able to do this summer and get those things done. Enjoy the last few days that you have left and don't stress too much about school. It's gonna be alright. I really hope you guys enjoyed that video and overall found some of the tips useful, at least, for going back to school. And if you did, please like, share, comment, and subscribe. And yeah, if you guys have any suggestions for any videos that you want to see in the future from me, leave a comment down below. And if you enjoyed this video, why not click on this one, which I posted last week, a vlog that you might like and enjoy. And yeah, other than that, I'll see you in next week's video. And yeah, bye for now.